Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Sagittarius June 2023 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant, and it's great to see you. Thanks for stopping by and having me in your home. Now, do you know I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for Sagittarians over the course of the last month, and if you might be interested to see what's involved in that, have a look at the description below. I've also done a number of healings as well. Now, readings, of course, I charge for. Healings are free. Now, depending where you see this, there could be a law in your country saying that I have to tell you that you should also be seeking medical advice, professional medical advice at the same time as you get healings. But cover the base, it's free. Now, what we have here is 5 cards that we're going to take. Actually, I've got a lunch date, a play date set out for this afternoon after I tape these readings. With a lovely lady, and maybe it'll be a play-up date, who knows, where I propose that we spend a glorious long lunch by the water, eating seafood and drinking champagne and wine. And so I'm looking forward to that, but I'm not as much as I'm looking forward to doing your reading, that's for sure. And we're going to choose 5 cards, aren't we? Because 5 is all we need to see what's involved for you this month. Let's see what they are. 10 of Swords. The Green Man. I'll have a look to see what these mean in just a second. The 4 of Wands. It's pretty good. 8 of Discs. And finally, the 10 of Cups. Well, why don't you come sit down here next to me? We'll have a good close look at the paintings on these cards together while I do your reading for you. Now, why am I seeing a 10 of Swords here when there is so much power, success, and love coming your way? I think it's because this is actually asking you not to rest on your laurels, and there is a deep spiritual message that's coming here as well. To know that you are not alone, and that everywhere you look, there is the face of the beloved. Leaving the Story is the title of the card. I think there might be more to it than that. Well, I think what we have here is in this painting we see, don't we, layers of a canyon, and I suppose that they can reflect the layers of your story and how deep it is. And at the bottom is a core pattern that you are organized around, and it is illuminated here, excuse me, by the light of awareness, by the light of the divine, which is always with you. And those ascending birds are a symbol of leaving the pattern. Now, the fact that they rise up in a spiral reminds you that your work on your patterns is something that you do again and again. And it is easy to get discouraged by this and forget that you are indeed moving forward. It helps you to remember that this may be a pattern you have been living out for many lives, and that changing the pattern is a major part of your life's work. It is as if each time you identify with the story, you get sucked back down into an energy vortex, and each time you disidentify with that story, you rise up to a higher and freer perspective. Freedom is getting out of the canyon, out of the ruts of mind that have obstructed the openness of your true nature. Now, the reason why I'm looking at the astrology of it and where it's placed, the astrology is that of the sun in Gemini. Well, what happens is that the sun's energy is scattered by the energy of Gemini. Gemini is that aspect of creation that comes into matter, and the spirit flies everywhere in all directions undirected. And so you can get some confusion that can come about as a result. Now, I think what is happening is that this is to remind you that you have understood endings before, even though at that time you were left drained and deeply saddened. This is, as I say, a real feeling of not resting on your laurels. You might well have been mentally and emotionally exhausted or overwhelmed by a situation you thought was what you wanted, or by something you experienced that took away your energy and your personal power. But you were not alone, and you recovered. Now, you may have been trying very hard to achieve something that failed, which left you feeling defeated and tired, but yet still here you are. Well, this is signaling, I think, death of old beliefs, of older lifestyles, and old patterns that don't serve you. It is a symbolic death that leads you to an initiation, in a sense, a transformation to a new and richer awareness. Well, it does have to be said, doesn't it, that the path that has brought you to where you are has been difficult, but there was never any turning back, was there? Well, in some respects, that's probably because there was no easy way out. But to understand this, you must take the necessary steps to shift any desperate thinking that you have from time to time, to reveal the truth of the situation, bringing it to an end so healing and rebirth can be achieved. You know, the gift of this energy is a higher awareness and awakening within you now, an awakening to acceptance. You are on a soul path here, you know. You are a spirit in a body of flesh. And what's also saying, the gift here is also moving you out of defeat to the realm of deep wisdom, peace, transformation, and enlightenment. Because despite the setbacks that you have had in your life, despite the things that you thought were going to destroy you, were going to harm you, you've moved on. You've overcome them. You've used that optimism, that strength, that power of Jupiter to bring you forward. Never give up, never say die, never have an off switch. Now, I suppose, in a sense, this is where the really big lessons of life can be experienced when this type of an energy is around. And as I say, this is asking you to remember what has gone on in your past, and to remember that there were times that you thought were desperate and that you would not survive, and yet you have, because you were never alone. You see, the divine and life shed light onto something that you needed so that you could change and transform. Now, changes and transformations, they can come about through choices you make, or by actions and decisions of others, or by what you think are catastrophic influences, or just a straight-out bad deal. Now, life is not, I suppose, a journey for the weak of heart, and yet if anybody has the ability to get through it with hope, optimism, and daring, it is you. Because you persevere through the journey. You survive the metaphorical death, and you are resurrected. And what I say here is that you are also spiritually, you may not be aware of it, but you are spiritually transformed at the same time. Do you know that the divine has handed you something, I think, probably around at the moment as well? Just to think, is there something that needs attention? Well, gather your courage, and you will come out of the experience cleansed and with a new insight of who you are, and on to a new chapter in your life. You are never alone. And you are protected as well. Now, let's have a look quickly at this. What is it? Green man. Well, I thought that was funny when I Just drew it out for you just a second ago. Let's have a look. Well, of course, this is traditionally called the Emperor, actually, isn't it? You would know it. And it represents for you power and leadership now. It also represents what could be called father energy, but because it's opposite this Ten of Cups, I would also extend that to maternal energy as well. Although the presentation of the Emperor here is not in the usual form, is it? And there's another important thread to this, I don't think, which you very often see, is that that I haven't seen, is that the green man represents the intelligence of nature and bringing that knowledge to yourself and to the community. Now, this is a lot of Aries energy around here, but with this number 4 here, I have associated with it the planet of Jupiter, which is your ruler. So I think that there is great good fortune from the astrology here for you. Now, I think that the Emperor protects his kingdom by creating a strong and solid foundation, and that is certainly something that I see you doing here. You're going to tie some things off and move things forward. And he's able to really balance his emotions and thoughts rather than reacting from a survivalist position, is what he's saying here. Because you don't need to. Don't be distracted by the energy of Gemini when these things come around. Now, like you, I think he has experienced life on many levels. Pain, hardship. You've seen death. And you know spirituality, love, beauty. You've had money, you haven't had money. And I think that the Emperor has gained a spiritual wisdom and found his personal power. Now, you will find your personal power and leadership abilities here. In fact, leadership abilities are things that you are going to be renowned for at this time. And remember when you were young, your innocence and vulnerability was influenced by the rules and traditions of family structure and society, wasn't it? And when you grew a bit older, well, then you began to develop a personal code, and your personal power came into play. And as a young adult, you began to question limiting beliefs and patterns that didn't fit your principles. Now, by recognizing and living what is true to your heart and soul self, you gain your personal power. Now, his masculine yang energy here is giving you vision and vitality to start new projects or to express new ideas, and he's telling you how to set some boundaries and develop your gifts and talents. Now, he shows you how to empower others in a positive way as well. You are able to offload work onto other people. And I think what's happening here is that there is a new dawn breaking, which is permitting you to express your gifts and ideas and to experience life to the fullest. You will be full of adventure and wanting to travel and explore the world. Your energy is going to be high and you're going to be ready to move. So, in light of that 10 that we just saw, use your wisdom, his wisdom, and honor what your heart speaks true. Build new, strong, solid, and secure foundations in your life. Tap into your personal power and explore your potentials, setting afire new ideas. Now, the gifts that he is bringing you, I think, is leadership skill, fairness, a stability, great personal drive, power, and self-confidence. Now, the question is, how is this going to be happening? I hear you ask, and what might be said. Let's have a look at this. Well, skillful perseverance is the title of it. I wish people wouldn't put titles on things. They don't mean anything to me, really, but I do get something from this art here, and if you look at the painting there, there's a sort of a vision, really, of what would you call that animal? Is that a sort of reindeer, is it? An elk. A vision of an elk appears to a woman who's just walking around alone. Now she is tired, and the elk brings her a teaching about skilled perseverance. Now elk, of course, are not like bobcats. They are not particularly fast. The elk has got to learn how to outdistance predators by pacing itself and by endurance. And the woman I see wears a shawl, which I suppose she has woven, and that tells me, anyway, that she already knows something about perseverance, because weaving, like any of those things to do with craft, which I just am hopeless at, they require both skill and perseverance. Yeah, just forgive me there while I bash my head on the camera. And the astrology here is the sun in Virgo. And I'm looking at the number 8 here. 8, I have a mystical association with the planet of Mercury. And Mercury is exalted in Virgo as well as being the ruler of Virgo. So it's both the ruler and in exaltation, which is unusual, isn't it, in astrology? In any event, it's a particularly good astrological combination for you at the present. Because do you know that, you see, first of all, the sun in Mercury, well, what happens is that the sun energizes the sun in Virgo. The sun energizes Virgo's hard work and attention to detail, to planting, to making things happen with the earth and put them together, and there is going to be success that comes out of it. However, I do think that this is a time when you will find the ability to exercise focus, discipline, commitment, and you'll be working from a place of imagination. Yeah, there's sort of things I get. You'll be taking your time about things. Do you know, sometimes there is a strength in doing nothing at all. It is about planting the seed, watering it, and waiting for the thing to grow. Let the sun come down into the earth, energize it, and let the plant grow, and then wait for the harvest later on. Well, I think that this could represent a time when, well, I think it does represent a time when you are going to be absorbed in a project. Now, I think that there is the need to create a private place to explore and work with no outside distractions. I think this is also talking about you having a time here of deep learning and actually bringing into your being some new insights and expanding upon your talents. It brings a time of birthing new expressions from what you are going to see as the integrated worlds of spirit and matter. You are going to be very connected to spirit at this time. In fact, in some way, there is a divine protection going on, although there always is, isn't there? And I think what will happen is that it's going to dawn upon you that really everything is truly connected and everything has an effect on the larger whole. So you realize also that every project contains potential for spiritual growth, and recognizing what is truthful to the progress of your heart's path, your precious heart. And you have always learned not to let expectations of others derail you from your path, from your goals, or to hold you back. Well, this is a very creative time. I think you are in sync with the creative forces of the universe. And this is bringing you, along with this Emperor here, I must say, it's bringing you a great degree of self-confidence, productivity from Virgo, and progress. That's the ability that comes with Mercury. You'll be very good at communication, incidentally, writing and talking. And you will be learning things. I think that this also can talk about job offers, but there's a reward for your effort that is starting to flow for you. And there is with you the realization that you are the creator of your life, and it becomes a true thing for you. Now that takes us, poking at it? This Four of Wands, Big finish coming up here by the looks of it. Now, you see, you are putting it all together here. Now, that's talking about opening the heart. Well, thanks a million for that. What have we got here? Well, look, the Suit of Wands, you know, really ascends up the chakras. And I think here we are at the 4th chakra, which people know as the heart chakra. Well, the heart chakra, along with the 5th, or the throat chakra, is one of the bridges between the 3 lower centers, which relate to your animal desires and instincts, sex and enjoying yourself that way, of course. And it bridges between there and your more personal self and the higher chakras. Now, in the image here, some of these energies spiral down to assist with that opening up, I think. And I'm just looking at this. This looks like that god Pan, who was the god of nature, and he's here with a deva. A deva, D-E-V-A, that's Sanskrit for being of light, and they exist in the wider reality, not to be confused with angels. They are separate to those. So I think that what we see here is a representation with that deva of your higher self and your spirit guides with you at this time. Now, astrologically, what we can say is that, I'm just looking at the position of it here, interestingly, it's Venus coming into, well, it's Venus in Aries. Well, Venus rules 2 signs, doesn't it? It rules Taurus and it rules Libra. And anyway, when Venus comes into Aries, it is in detriment. And so you feel that it can't really express all of its love, all of its... Venus is about making money also, you know. And there is here, I think, the possibility of, well, not the possibility of it, I think there's good material energy coming in here for you. Mars is the ruler of Aries, so you put Venus and Mars together. But you know how I mentioned before how you have Jupiter with the number 4? Well, I do. Jupiter is the great benefic of the zodiac, and Venus is the lesser benefic. And the fact is that, so you've got Venus coming next to Mars and Jupiter in the card, 2 great benefics. And so what you might think to be the ordinary inconsistency between Venus and Mars, I don't think that that's there. And so Venus, maybe not to her best extent if she was, if she was exalted in Pisces as she is, then she's still going to be able to get her messages across in relation to love, beauty, relationships, and money. And I do think that this represents a development and growth period for you. You are on the right track and making progress. Through hard work and your trademarked enthusiasm, you're coming across a successful accomplishment here. I think this is also bringing renewal, development, new ideas, strengths and concepts. A level of perfection is sort of being reached with you, and you are riding the energetic wave of creativity to the next horizon of possibilities here. Now, because this has entered here in the center of your spread, I think you're also completing something with great success, and fulfillment and reward are going to flow to you. You'll find that you become free of constrictions. Deadlines aren't going to be a drama. And limitations, you're not going to see them as limitations. There's a feeling of well-being, high energy and stamina with you. I think this also speaks of hospitality, having a few cocktails, fun, joy, generosity. And you could even be attending a wedding or a celebratory event like a birthday or an anniversary, or hearing of a birth. Now, your achievements give you a moment to breathe and take in the journey that's brought you to the present. Remember this here? You have passed through the dark night. You know darkness, you've seen it before, and you embrace it. It holds, and it doesn't allow fear to come up in you. I think this is talking about new levels of growth and development in a project or a relationship or a lifestyle that brings great love and harmony. So when the time is right, grab that proverbial golden ring of new possibilities and charge ahead, forward to a new chapter in your life. Now let's finally deal with this 10, and it is talking about a joyous flow, and that is so true for you. Now in the painting there's a woman floating in the ocean with a dolphin nearby. Well, she's very at home in the watery environment of the emotional and spiritual realms. The woman is not afraid to get wet and feels free in that fluid nature of her emotional body. And her fluid nature is mirrored by the dolphin, which represents a kind of a right brain aspect, I suppose. Here there is comfort, contentment, and mastery of the watery worlds of emotion and intuition, as well as a bonding with the dynamic flow inherent in the Suit of Cups. Now this is Jupiter, your planet in Pisces, and they go together beautifully because Jupiter's softer concerns, such as compassion and looking after people, are beautifully expressed through sensitive Pisces. Great for you. Now, because this energy has come in shining on your life, good fortune and success have found you. It brings celebration of the goodness and that love you have been blessed with. So enjoy yourself. Happy days are here. This is bringing strong bonds and friendships. Now, a romantic relationship may well deepen. Now, you have learned how acts of love can heal and fulfill, and how misguided love can hurt deeply. Well, embrace and respect nature and the beautiful environment around you. Share your spiritual and material wealth with those less fortunate. You are now extremely blessed with love all around you and with well-being. There is the perfect work around you, a feeling of prosperity and living by your true values with spiritual integrity. This has brought this blessed life that is magical, full with love and joy to you. The moment is now, and now is forever. What a fascinating set of cards for you, Sag. Well done. I really enjoy doing your readings for you each month, honestly, truly I do. It's I love, look at that was a great reading, I thought, for you. I think there's some great things in store for you this month. And don't you deserve it? Really you do. And now look, unless I see you privately during the course of the month over the next few weeks, then I'll see you again next month. Now, until I see you, remember one thing and one thing only, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.